What's up, my people? So, getting into today's episode of Days of Our Lives, it went down. All right. So, Stefan barged up in that room. At first, he went ripping into EJ. He was like, you know what? No. So, what did you do? You offered her a robe, and you wanted to be the crying her her shoulder to cry on to get back at me. And then Egypt was like, first of all, it was the other way, it was the other way around. And she was like, but Stefan wasn't trying to hear that up until he saw the clothes on the floor. And he's like, are these your clothes? And he said, yes. You slept with my brother? And he was like, yeah. And then Stefan went and punched EJ in the face. I was like, oh. EJ was like, oh, you were going to regret that. There was about to be a full-on fight, but Gabi broke that up. And then Gabi was like, you know what? I was thinking for a second, I was thinking about not telling you, but then I would be just as even as you. But yep, I slept with your brother, and I'm glad I did it, and blah, 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 blah. And then Stefan's like, you know what? No, now you found a way to ruin it. I was at your doorstep begging for your forgiveness, begging for you, but you found a way to make sure we have irreparable damage. And Gabby's like, oh, this means you stop fighting for us. You see, Stefan said, yes, this is exactly what I mean. And then he said he was just done with her. And then she's like, you know what? That's why I'm glad I did what I did. Um, I don't regret it. And one more thing, EJ's better in bed than you are. I'm like, oh, you really had to give him the low blow like that? She really just had to do that. I'm like, you tacky son of a bitch, but that is some petty energy. I can respect that though. That is petty, petty, petty. I'd probably take a shot like that too. A petty shot. Because I know that would destroy them. Even though she's clearly lying, because right afterwards she told Edith, don't touch me. And we all know she was dreaming about Stefan right after that. So she's lying, but still, that's a good lie. I'm just saying. She wanted to find a way to hurt him. And that worked. So, respect. You conniving bitch. But moving on from that, let's talk about Aaron and Dr. Mark Green. They had some real conversation today. Because first, Dr. Green was giving him the smoke for faking being Tate. And then talk about, oh yeah, so what are you going to do when Brady wants his money back? Because that was an expensive camp. And now, when he's seeking a reimbursement, what you're trying to do, Aaron was like, man, Brady is rolling in money. He won't miss it. And then Aaron told Mark, he said, you know what? Yes, fine. I'll find a way to pay him back. I'm like, no, like you said, Brady got the money, and if Brady wanted to be father of the year, he should have took his son to the camp himself. Okay? That's why his money got wasted. Who told him to trust his damn lying ass son? You should have dropped him off. I'm just saying, you could barely give him a ride to the airport. I'm like, no, you should have dropped him to the cake. And then I know that Steve and Kayla were on this episode today, but I really didn't have time to watch their scenes. I didn't see anything with it. But if you felt they did anything interesting, you let me know. I just know they were talking about Abigail for 5 seconds, and then that Stephanie, in the end, caught fake Abigail in a lie. So, because she told Stephanie about that she's working on a treatment plan with Kayla, which is obviously a lie. But back to Mark and Aaron, they were talking about, oh, when he found out about Sarah's car accident, and then he said, yeah, I know that must be real rough, but every time there's a car accident, I can't help but think about what happened to mom and dad. And he said, yeah, I'm sure mom and dad would be very proud. And then he said, yeah, I don't think they'd be proud of me right now. He said, oh, come on, bro. Your heart is always in the right place. So that was very sweet. Like today, really sold. I really became an Aaron fan today. They finally gave him some sort of depth to talk about to his character. He was so sweet and likable. I'm like, okay, if Sophia would stop being such a hoochie, she might be good for Aaron. Because Aaron feels natural outside of Tate's shadow. Because Aaron actually looks like a teenager. I'm like freaking Tate. I'm just saying. I'm like middle-aged Tate. Aaron actually looks like a teenager and acts like one. Just saying. Without having a whiny, squeaky voice. So, on purpose. But Chad was talking with Leo, and they were having some good scenes together, I guess. Leo's trying to break bed, talk about, oh, fine, and then it's about, you don't look too happy about giving your wife is back from the dead. You should be over the moon. And he's like, oh, well, but anyways, I gotta be leaving the Spectator because I got a new position at that as a writer on the thing. And Chad's like, oh, I'm an investor on that, but I let things make the day-to-day decisions. I didn't know nothing about that. But, well, I'm sorry to see you leave the Spectator. And they had more talk, and then eventually Leo was like, I want to do a storyline about the wife back with amnesia. And talk about, no, don't do a storyline on my life. And talk about, oh yeah, you know, DNA tests ain't nothing on a soap opera. I'm like, okay. I'm like, very subtle, y'all. Very subtle. So maybe that could be a long-running gag on thing on that. Maybe this body and soul storyline could actually work out. But that could integrate into storylines of how secrets be revealed in that town through the characters. I think that could be a nice little thing. Now, I know I usually complain about it, but Leo brought up Mark, and she said he thought that Mark was gay, but then apparently he had a girlfriend. But we found out something interesting towards the end of this episode. But before I go there, like I said, Stephanie and Thing had some nice scenes together. I can't wait until this fake Abigail. I don't like the name Babby though. I just don't like it. That's not for me. That I would call it that. I just rather just say the full fake Abigail instead of Babby. I just don't like it. But that's just me personal, you know. She was just, but after her scene with Stephanie wrapped up, she bumped into Mark. She met up with him, and he was like, "Oh, yeah, when the pressure gets too hard, you got too hard for you. You know, you have your real family supporting you." And talk about, yeah, bro. So it turns out that's his sister. So we're like, oh. So if that's his sister, what is their end game though? Like who? Like, so is this just about money? This must be about money then. Because they were talking about, because even Aaron was talking earlier, said, I know it must be hard for you to support us on your own. So this must be financially motivated. So that makes sense. But because the Demaras do got money out there, who has? So I'm just saying. I don't blame them. Take your cash. Do what you got to do. And the Demara probably did something. Maybe one of the Demaras caused that car crash. One of them did. I wouldn't put it past any last one of them that caused that car crash. So that's why he's doing this, probably. I'm like, okay. That's a good twist. But that was pretty much the gist of this episode. Let me know what y'all thought about this episode in the comment section below. Hit that like button and share this video if you can. That does help keep this momentum growing. And I'm going to see you all in my live stream tonight, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Peace.